For any Burmese language speakers tuning in today, we wanted to let you know that our Better Burma mission has launched 3 Burmese language podcasts: Myanmar Revolutionary Tales, Dark Era of Burma, and Myanmar Peace, Women, and Security. These programs can be found on our website as well as on any of your preferred podcast platforms. We invite you to take a listen. But for now, let's get on with this episode.
Okay, so after the coup, we were becoming a background, like underground activist, and as we cannot walk very freely, and we have to hide walking in a place where we are going to stay. So to have a safe place, we need to show to our neighbors how we are. Our identity. So then we need to choose a story for ourselves. For example, like, okay, who I am, I'm here, and my background is like teaching to a student online, teaching like this. So no one can notice me. I'm doing a politics, or I'm doing the activist or human rights work. So that's why first I need to create a story. And then, of course, my neighbors, when they come and ask, hey, what are you doing like this? So I have to say, okay, I'm teaching the students online. I'm teaching language, that's it. But I cannot say that I'm teaching to the students online. Students mean like, like this school student. I cannot say that because it can be relating with the CGM student. So that's why I have to say, okay, I'm teaching language to the children like this, and then only online like that, so that no one can notice me. I'm doing like the politics. And then, okay, well, when I'm communicating with clients or something, so if I am speaking, I cannot speak very loud, even online, because if I can, when we are talking very serious topics, and also we just really relating to the current situation, and we are sharing the current situation, and we are like planning, strategizing what we are going to do, and what kind of activities, what kind of stride that we are going to continue. So we are talking and discussing with our alliance or with our networks. So then when I come to like this kind of meeting online, so I have to speak very quietly, because my neighbor, I cannot make others, my neighbor, to hear what I'm saying, because if I'm saying something which is very related to the movement or something, so they can notice me who I am. So that's why when I'm talking, when I'm communicating. So I speak very quietly, and I need to find a place where we cannot, where no one can hear me, because in my country, like we are not living very in a very big compound, but like every house are very closed to each other. So that's why if I say something, our neighbor can hear my what I'm saying. So that's why what I need to manage is, so when I'm speaking, I just speak very low voice like that, and also I show to my neighbor, I'm teaching just like this, and it is the way that how we deal with the situation and how we continue with the movement. And then again, another thing is, you know, my neighbors are from military, and they are still actively working in their military. They are soldier, so that's why I feel, oh my God, I've got very big problems with my neighbors. So it makes me more squeezing myself. Okay, hey, I cannot say. So whenever I'm like talking with my colleagues, I say, okay, let me speak very slowly and quietly because my neighbors are just like that. So that's why I always request. So this is how I am dealing with this situation, and also how I identify myself in my place. So there's a first thing that I would like to share.
Thank you. And I'm here speaking to Bobo, who has been part of the democracy movement. And you're starting this interview out by sharing this story reflecting upon basically this fake identity and kind of a cutout character you have to create and a safe house that you have to keep safe surrounded by military neighbors. I mean, you're describing a situation you're living in that is right out of any spy movie I've ever seen. I mean, these are any suspense or spy novel or movie that is showing a character taking on another identity and the training that allows him to know how to effectively contort the truth to protect oneself and protect others and protect the information. And it's stunning to hear this because when you're watching spy movies or reading suspense novels, you're reading about people that are in the field, that are professional spies and are trained and everything else. We're going to get into your background in just a moment, but I assume that you don't come from a background of being a professionally trained spy. I assume that when the coup happened, you had to just learn how to take this on. You had to learn how to find a safe house, how to have a fake identity, how to make up stories that support that fake identity. And in the highest possible stakes imaginable, you're creating these characters with no training and lives are depending on it. So that I don't even know how to really process that or what to ask about that to you. I guess you can just share a little bit from your reflection. How did you go from a somewhat ordinary background to the coup being launched and suddenly having to take on this whole fake identity with the highest stakes possible in terms of being able to maintain it? How were you able to learn these behaviors?
So being an activist since for a long time, like since in 2007, I'm facing so many challenges and difficulties threatened by the police or the military. So as you know, we're under military regime since for a long time. And okay, I was actively involved in the as a human rights activist or human rights defenders or political activist since in 2007. So since that time, when we were like doing activities, we had to be very secretly and working as an underground way. And then that time, when we are doing that, by doing it, we are like taking care of ourselves, and also we we learn from each other, or maybe from our seniors or from our brothers who are older generation for us. So we learn from them. Okay, how we how we can keep secret, how we can communicate secretly and how we should do secretly like this. So by doing that, we are learning from each other, and we are learning from our older generation how to be safe and how to walk in hiding. So that is how we come up with the to have a fake IDs. And then again, when we are communicating with a stranger, that time we have to say, hey, we have to make our not a real identity, because the real identity can be known if somebody have been arrested or something. Okay, for example, like my friends or my colleagues will be arrested, and then when they investigate them, hey, who your friends or who are connected with. So then, if they beating to my friends. So my friend have to say, okay, I'm connecting with this guy, call my real name, and then they can record it. And after they record, they can try to find me with the real name, so that it can make me more difficult to move freely. So okay, they can follow me. I mean, they means the police can follow me with my real ID, my real identity. So maybe whenever I go like traveling, so if they check the real identity in their list, so it can be very easy to find me. So that's why we need to start changing of our ID, fake ID. Fake ID means like not the real one that I am using normally, but I need to change my name, like a nickname, or maybe Nick ID, like fake story, or maybe the fake means which is not really not very not possible things we cannot choose to the story. Okay, let's say, okay, I can say, oh, I'm a teacher and I am like teaching to the kids language. This is the normal story which is in the environment. But then we cannot say, hey, I'm very something which is impossible thing, so that can make me more suspicious by the neighbor. So that's why when we're choosing fake ID, when we're like making our story to be fake one, so we have to be, we have to consider very properly to make ourselves visible, but to make ourselves not knowing by anyone, not suspicious by the environment, by police, by our threatens. So that's why like we need to check very clearly, not to be happen like that. So these are some of the like background, or these are like how we have to be aware, or we have to take care to be involved in the movement to continue walking what we have to do safely. Of course, we cannot say safe, very safe, but we can reduce the risk to be less and less.
Right, that makes sense. And I think this is a good segue for learning a bit more about you and your background and where you came from before the coup was launched and what your activities were. So, can you take us a bit through, however, as much as safe to share, I should say, don't say anything that puts yourself at risk, but however much is safe to share, can you tell us a bit about your background, your family, where you came from growing up, and what you were doing in the years before the coup?
I am a political activist, and I'm an activist since 2007. In 2007, there was the September Saffron Revolution. So monk protest the against the military regime. So that time, my like my not my career. I mean, like that in that time, I start in touch with politics, and I involved more and more into politics. And actually, my background is just a student, like an ordinary people, like other people. Just that's it. I have no political background. My families are not from politics background. I'm just a normal family members. And but in 2007, after the Saffron Revolution, it makes me to involve in politics. And then from that time, I involved more deeper and deeper into politics and into the human rights and democracy movement. So after the 2007, so after the military crackdown to the monks, monks are like praying and marching on the street, and like many civilians or many people were joining there, and then protest against the high expense on petrol or something. So the protest started, and then when I saw the military crackdown to the monks brutally, it makes me really really angry. And then it comes to me that hey, why they are so brutal? And then there is one of the key point for me to get more involved in the politics and to be as an activist. But then, of course, that time I didn't know what is activist. I didn't know what is human right, democracy, also even politics. I didn't know anything. But when I saw that crackdown, and when I saw many monks or civilians are killed by the military, I feel really angry, and it makes me really really pushing me up to involved. Okay, another thing is, I mean personally myself, my individual, when I worked in school, and after I finished my high school, I had no choice. I didn't know what to do because I also feel the education system is nothing, and also I lost my way when I finished my high school, and so I didn't join. I didn't go to the university. But yeah, of course, later on, I mean, after 1 or 2 years, I joined to the university. But in that time, when I am going out, when I see the people, uh, when I see people are very poor, and I have my one thing in me, it, like I decide to myself, hey, one day am going to be, I'm going to try to be rich. If I'm rich, and I will help these people. So that is the one of the mindset that it comes to me. So again, when I thinking, okay, if I have a business, if I have much money, but if the system or if the military is like manipulating to me, so all my poverty will be gone as well. So I'm thinking, and I'm like brainstorming to myself. Okay, so what I need to do is we need to change them. I need to change them. That means like the military. So I need to overthrow them. If we can change the system, it will be okay, I think. So if we cannot change the system, if we cannot overthrow the military regime, even though I have having finding business, it's nothing. It can be occupied one day. So it is not guarantee for my dream to help people. So that's why I have one conclusion. Okay, if I cannot overthrow them, if I cannot make a system change, my life will be nothing. My dream will not fulfill. But if I can change the system, if I'm trying to change the system, if the system change, if we got the democracy, so people's life will be better. So with that decision and with that mindset, And then when I saw the saffron revolution, so these two comes together, and oh my God, yeah, this is really what I need to do. So since that time, I start getting more involved in politics and having starting meeting with the people who are involved in politics already. So I got more and more know my know is getting wider and wider, and then from that I involved in my organization. I joined with my organization, and then continue fighting for human rights, democracy since that time. And then yeah, of course, that time I was very I did many activities in underground way, and yeah, since that time until now, we stay fighting for human rights, democracy. We're trying to overthrow the military leadership. So, and then trying to make change to the country, trying to bring a system which is can guarantee for the secure or peaceful for the people in the country. So this is why I involve in more and more in the politics as well as the being an activist. So this is one of the this is one of the one of the key point or one of the turning point for myself. In my life, one of the turning point how I became politics when I became an activist and be involved in the human rights democracy movement. So this is just one of the piece and also biggest key point in my life.
Thank you for sharing that. That's all quite a powerful story to hear about the role that the Saffron Revolution played in your political development and the path that you went down. There's a lot to explore there, I'm sure, from 2007 on to 2021 when the coup happened. This decade plus, you were you had by your own profession, you had decided to become an activist, fighting for democracy, for human rights, and doing so against a horribly brutal military with no regard for any human rights or anything else, ready to violate any kind of standards. So uh, before we get into what's happened since the coup, can you walk us through some of those years? I know there's probably more than is possible to talk about on the time we have on this podcast, but give us an overview of what you were doing during these years from '07 after Saffron Revolution to 21, and what stood out during this time of the causes and activities you were doing, and what you learned from this work as well.
Yes. So since the time I get more engaged into politics, and also I have more connection with the people who are already involved in the politics. Yeah, as I told our seniors, our our elder generation. So I learned a lot from them, and also got connection more and more with them. So in 2007, I joined with an organization called Generation Wave, which is also I'm currently uh, working with Generation Wave until now. So I joined with my organization, and then we did so many underground activities. For example, we scatter papers in the public, and then we write a political message on the wall. For example, we paint or we write a message on the wall in the public area, and also in the bars. We we stick a poster political message like this. So we did like this kind of underground activities after in 2007 when after I joined the organization, and then the reason why we are doing that is to give the message to the people and to give the motivation to the people, and also to give the message to the regime. Okay, the message to the people is, hey, come up, together get up together with us to fight for human rights democracy, and then to overthrow the military regime. So it comes up together. So we motivate and mobilize to the young people, to the people to fight with us together. So this is the message to the people. And then again, another one is to the military regime is, hey, these are the group who are opposing you. They are the people who are like opposing you, and also we never give up, and then we are fighting, and then we don't want you, and we want to overthrow you. So we give the message to the military regime. So all of these underground activities having like these kind of objectives, or having like this kind of idea to give the message to the people as well as to the military regime. And then the activities we are doing is like in very different ways, undergroundly, in underground way, and doing a lot. By doing so, the military, they trying to find out who we are, and also what our generation with, and also they trying to find out and trying to arrest us. And then in 2008, in March, some of our founders have been arrested, and since that time, they start tracking or like finding our organization, and then so they trying to stop our movement, but they could not actually, because even though they arrest our members, even though they arrest our founders, but the waves stay going. They cannot stop the waves. I mean, the waves means like the waves trying for human rights democracy, the waves who are fighting for their freedom. So they cannot stop it. So even though they arrest our members, so we keep continuing our activities, our movement, secretly and in different ways. So after, I mean, like because of this movement, many of our members have been arrested. Even me personally, I need to fled or hide in a safe place. So I need to be like in a remote area. So because of that, but we never stop our movement. So we keep continuing our movement, and we keep mobilizing the young people. We keep like doing the underground activities. And then in 2008, so we conduct more activities. So we mobilize young people, and we train, and we give awareness raising to the young people. Okay, what is human right and what is democracy, and also like we organize or we conduct a secret training for the young activists, and then we train them, and then they continue working like arts. No, they continue like actively working and involving in the movement. And then again, like in 2008 and 2009 and 2010, we got more engaged with the different partner organization, as well as to the international organizations. So we give more, we can have more engaged with international organization as well. So that time we also did advocacy, and we also shared what is happening in the country to the international organization or community as well. And also like we raise our issues in the international level as well. So by this way, we keep continuing our movement And yeah, in 2011, like we are walking openly again after after the civilian after the military government, they changed their uniform and they became a civilian government in 2010. After that, in 2011, we walk openly like this. So I can continue to then into another part. So if I go back to the background of the organizations, like in 2008, 9, and 10. So in that period, we did many underground activities. We did many like awareness raising to the young people. We mobilize and motivate young people to come and walk or to fight for human rights, democracy, to stand with us together. So we raise awareness a lot in this time in underground way. And also after we got engaged with the international organization, so we raise more, we demand more, and we encourage more to the international community as well to take action against the military regime like that. So that time, the style of what we are working in 2008 and 9, and similar right now again, because after the military coup in 2021, so I mean, for me personally, it is repeating again for me, because in 2007, so when I start getting engaged in politics. So because it's to overthrow the military regime, I don't like the military. So I need to make a change. I need to overthrow the regime. So that's why I involved in politics and I did underground activities. And then now, currently after the coup, it is similar. I mean, my life is repeating again, trying to be hiding and doing underground activities again, mobilizing more and more again, because all the things are to make system change and to overthrow the military regime. But of course, now we got more experience of like what we want exactly and how we want our country exactly. So after like many year experience, we have more clear vision, we have more knowledge how to deal with the current situation. Yeah.
Wow, thanks for sharing that. That's really quite a lot to take in, and it's quite something to, we know the contours of Myanmar history. We know about the Saffron Revolution and the democratic transition, and then the of course the current coup and democracy movement. But these national events really mirror your whole life. It sounds as though your life has been dedicated to trying to resist the military oppression and all these different checkpoints and way stations along the way. So that's really quite something. And it's really quite a bit of dedication and sacrifice that you've been willing to take on for the betterment of your people and your country. I'm really curious what your thoughts are on this democratic transition that happened in the 2010s, especially after 2015. This is something we've heard so much about. There are people that have expressed all different views on it, from it being some kind of sham and no democracy at all, and really just the same old thing, to people who say no, this was a legitimate effort to really move in a democratic transition, and there were a lot of things in play that were in a very difficult operating situation at the time that were trying to be effective and successful in very difficult conditions. So as someone who was an activist for so many years before this so-called democratic transition took place, and continued to be an activist and doing activities and pushing for reforms and education and everything after 2015, I'm wondering what your personal views are when you look at the 2010s, and especially 15 to 20. When you look at this period, how do you see it? Did you see it as something authentic or genuine, or trying to be under difficult circumstances in some way, or did you view it as something that was kind of doomed to fail and problematic and in very serious ways from the start?
Yes. In 2010, like the military reformed to be civilian government. And at that time, in 2010 and 12, like many political leaders has been released, and then trying to transform and trying to do in the transition to democracy. And but that time, yeah, of course, the country opened up a little bit, then under the military regime. But of course, it's not totally reform. It is not really, really open, fully open up. But it is what we can see that situation is it is open up down under the military regime. So it is the first point that I would like to raise. And then okay, to want to connect back to our story. So in 2007, 8, and 9, 2009, we were underground and we like hiding, and we were in exile, and we are continuing the activities and our movement. And yeah, of course, as you know, many of our members have been arrested, and our organization are in the blacklist of, the blacklist for the military regime. And then in 2010, as we all know that the country, they say, okay, civilian government are like now we're a civilian government and the country is changing, the country is transitioning to democracy, so the country open up. So that's what the narrative of the military to the international communities and organizations as well. So we took that turning point as well. Okay, we will walk openly again. We will be visible by them again, and so that's why we did our anniversary. I mean, like our organization anniversary in Yangon. And then before we did that, we have many discussion. And okay, now they said the country is changing and open up, and that the country is in transition to democracy right now. That is what they said. And then okay, we discuss. Okay, so if they say so, we will walk openly, and if they come and arrest us, okay, we can say that the country is not changing, and we can say to the international community, we can say, okay, the country is not changing, it is a fake. We can say that if they come and arrest. And if they don't arrest us, okay, we'll keep engaged with more people and we'll do more activities openly that time. And then we have that discussion. And after that discussion, and we decided to work openly and to start to start organizing our anniversary, our organization anniversary. And after we did that, yeah, many informers and intelligence are coming and taking the information, but they didn't arrest anybody. So since that time, we keep continue our activities. We did visible to ourselves. I mean, and then we get more intelligent. We got more engaged, and we got wider communication and to the people throughout the country. So this is also the turning point of the organization to be from the underground activist groups and to be on ground activist organization again. And then in that time, we can say that we are one of the earliest group earliest activist organization who are turning back into the like ground organization. So it is the point. And in that time, as we continue our movement more and more openly, and we did many engagements more with the civil society organization a lot. And then in 2012, NLD, National League for Democracy, led by Aung San Suu Kyi, they involved in the by-election in 2012, and they won some seat. And then in 2015, they began NLD led government. They began the government and they govern. And in 2015 and 20, we have the NLD led government. And when we are observing to that situation, we can say that the country is open up and there are more freedom when we compare to the military regime. We have more, we can feel the taste of democracy for some years. So that's why to say that after 2010, 2015 election, we have more democratic government than under military regime than the current coup. So in that period, some of the in that period, many people feeling or many people has got the freedom, and many people has got open up more and more. So we can access to that situation like that. But of course, it is not totally perfect when we are looking at the human rights situation. It is not totally okay, totally perfect, even under the led, even under an NLD government. But of course, it is better than. In some point, it is better than the military civilian government. Of course, it is better than. In some point, it is better. Yeah, it's open up. But of course, when we are looking back to the human rights situation, it is not fulfilled, and also when we are talking for the federal democratic country, of course, it is not stay fulfilled. And also when we're talking about the human rights situation, like in many Rohingyas has been killed and also fled. They also fled. It is kind of like crimes against humanity. So genocide thing happened to Rohingya in our country. So to see that, to assess to that situation, we say, okay, of course, it is the human rights situations are not better. No, not 100% of human rights situations are improved. But of course, what we can say is, we have more freedom. The country is more open up when compared to the military regime. And so in that time, our organization role is the more like to the civil society organization. We began more and more like that. And then we did many advocacy to the government and okay, hey, you should respect this, and also you should make a law concerning with that. For example, freedom of expression, freedom of movement. There is like the law which is developed by the military civilian government developed by that, and then we say, hey, okay, this law should be abolished. So like these things we were doing a lot after so-called democratic government. We did many like law reform things. Okay, also again like constitutional reform. We advocated many things like that, even under the civilian government. And then in 2015, we continue like doing like that. We advocating to the government. We give recommendation, policy recommendation to the civilian government a lot. But yeah, again, in 2021, the coup happened. Yeah, as we all know, the coup happened like that again. So when I go back to your questions, so that our assessment, I mean, like our observation to the 2011 to 2021. So in that period, our assessment, I would say, yes, it is more freedom. Yes, people has more aware on politics like that. Yes, the situation is better than now. The situation is better than under military regime. We can say like that. But of course, as I told you, the human right values and human right perspective are not all human right perspective, and also like the from the perspective of human rights and also perspective of like the equality, or maybe like for the ethnic peoples, are not 100% fulfilled. I mean, in that time, but now, yeah, it is uh, much more difficult, and yeah, we need to make to another move and another step for our country.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that description. You referenced being involved in Generation Wave. This is quite an important youth organization. Before the coup, that was active. After the coup, has been even more important. For those listeners who are not familiar with Generation Wave, can you describe how the organization was founded, what it's been doing in the years before the coup, and then the role that it played after the coup took place?
And Generation Wave is founded in 2007 after Saffron Revolution. So with the objective of to overthrow the military regime and to fight for to bring human rights democracy to the country. So that we founded the organization in 2007. And then in that time, as I mentioned before, we did many underground activities, many underground movement, like giving message to the people, like mobilize and motivate to the young people, and we give like capacity building to the young people. We train, and we actively involved in the movement, and yeah, by this way we did underground activities since in 2007. And then what we after the when we go up like when we go up on ground in 2010 11. So in that time we did many activities such as advocacy and campaigning, also like giving capacity building trainings to the young people, and also we did like human rights documentation. So we collect the human rights violations committed by different stakeholders, and then we did the advocacy based on the data that we have, and also we did several things for the reforms of the country. So we also like advocate a lot for the law reforms, which are repressed to the people, and so we did advocating a lot like that. And then so it's before the coup as well, and then after the coup, we are supporting to the human rights defenders. Like we support technically, I mean, like by giving the training and also by supporting their security issues. So we are supporting to this, and then again, we also doing like we still continuing like our human rights documentations, and especially based on civil and political rights issues, and then we are doing that, and also we are doing like campaign and networking and advocacy. We are doing that as well, And then we are also like now we are also like involving in the strike committees, and we continue like discussing, and we continue like actively involved in the movement, and yeah, we keep fighting it. And then again, for the revolution, for the spring, for under this spring revolution, we draw. I mean, we draw. I mean, we discuss for our strategy for what. So we did brainstorming and discuss a lot. So under that, the activities that we are doing is supporting to the current movement and current revolution. So we, based on our experience, based on our expertise, and we have now we are trying to support to the movement, and also we are being involved in the movement, and also being connected with all the our allied organizations throughout the country. Yeah, not just only throughout the country, as well as to the our allied alliance organization internationally. We are also connected to that. So basically, this is what is Generation Wave doing, and also our goal, our objective is to overthrow the military regime, and we are fighting for human rights and democracy to have a peaceful federal democratic country. So that's why we are. That's what we are aiming, and also that's what we are doing. Yeah, until now, and we will continue until we reach to our goal. So we said to ourselves, Generation Wave. It means our movement and our attempts, our movement, our attempts, our fight for democracy, peaceful or for democracy and for, to be have a federal democratic country. So we say ourselves, okay, we are like the waves are going wave by wave to reach to the the goal, to reach to our goal. So the waves are coming wave by wave, and also here our movement and our generation are coming wave by wave to reach to our goals, to reach, to bring, and to fight for human rights, democracy until we reach it. So that's why I would say we stay continuing doing it, and also we stay continue to fight until we reach to our goals.
Right. Yeah. And we should mention that when Generation Wave was founded, one of the the leading members was, of course, Koze Artha. He was the Burmese hip hop star, credited with bringing hip hop into the country. Also, later a member of parliament, who was quite active in the formation and the early activities of Generation Wave. Of course, Koze Artha tragically was executed in cold blood after a sham trial a couple months ago. It was very devastating for many people who knew him and who were following the democracy movement. And so I'm wondering. I know this can be a difficult subject to talk about. If if you feel comfortable in talking and sharing memories of him and Koze Artha's involvement in Generation Wave, your relationship with him, some of what he did and what he brought to this movement, and just memories of working alongside him and what he meant to Generation Wave and the democracy movement in general in Myanmar.
So Seattle is one of our Generation Wave founder, and one of our leaders who founded the organization in 2007. But he was arrested in 2008 in March during planning of the public movement in 2008. He has been arrested, and then after he is released, he continued in Generation Wave, and in 2012 he became the NLD member, National League for Democracy member, NLD party member, and he dived into politics, and later he became a member of parliament in 2012 and 2015. So generation wave is one of the part in his life, and also political. Being a politician is also one of the things in his life. And then even before that, before generation wave, I mean, I am one of their music band. I'm one of the fan of them. So personally, when I look at to Guziador, I'm always very proud of him because of our leaders, because of our founders, because of kind of like the idols for young people in the country. And his attempt to his sacrifice to democracy and human rights in the country are very huge. He is always standing for the people in the country. He is always standing for the country. He is always standing for justice, and then that give inspiration to the young people. And now, after the coup, he also did a lot, committed a lot to the revolution. And also, yeah, of course, that also gave inspiration to the young people as well. And after he has been arrested again, and finally after executed, we got more angry. We got more angry to the brutal military regime. And then, yeah, as personally, I would say, yeah, I'm really respect and also very proud to work together with him to be involved, in the movement and to fight together for the for our country. So I'm very proud of it. But one thing I would say, even though the brutal military regime, even though they kill him, even though they kill him, so they cannot kill the spirit of him. They cannot kill the belief of him, and because because even though they kill to the people, the movement is never stopped. They cannot kill the movement. They cannot kill our fight to human rights and democracy, and our people fishing or people dream for the country. They never can kill it. So that's why young people. I mean, like that's why the inspiration from Guziador, and the inspiration is going a lot. And then now, even now, the movement are continuing, and the attempt, the fight for human rights and democracy are still going. So it's never stop. And also, yeah, yeah, the last one that I would say from the perspective of the organization, I would say, yeah, we lost one of our comrades. We lost one of our founders, so it is a bit lost for us. Yeah, we lost one of our brother, and from the perspective of the movement and the country, we say, yeah, we lost one of the hero. He is one of the fallen hero for the country, and he is he will be always. I mean, his spirituals are always will be with the people in the country.
Thank you for that. I can't imagine how much that must hurt on so many levels. Thank you for recalling him and his good qualities and what he gave. Just one last question before we move on to what's happened since the coup. Going back to the democratic transition period, you reference how the NLD was not perfect, but it was certainly better than what we'd seen before of past military regimes. In 2015 and 2020, the NLD had a bit more power after the election, still not fully in control. However, there were a lot of well-known and well-publicized concerns during that time, such as the way they were treating journalists. Of course, the whole Rohingya crisis. Don't need to go into detail there of some of the the actions they did that made a lot of international observers quite worried and concerned. But I'm wondering, as far as like Generation Wave went, as far as you personally went, as far as your comrades, fellow activists that were pushing for change, true democracy, human rights, how were your interactions with NLD? Did you were you guys and you personally and your organization safe under when LD was in charge, or were there also risks and tensions that were coming not just from the military regime, which of course we would expect and we know of over so many years, and it's the same old dog is going to keep doing what it's going to do. But in terms of the NLD, what was your relationship with them when they had a bit more control after the 2015 elections?
Actually, governments are always acting like as a government, and activists are acting as a activist. So the roles are different. So from the role of generation wave or from the role of activist, yeah, we always say what we want, and we always say what it should be for the country and also for the people for the people. So that's why we advocate a lot to them, to the NLD government as well. And also sometimes we criticize a lot to the NLD government, especially on the issues of human rights and like that. So the relation, I mean, our relation with the NLD government are, I would say it is not, I would say it is not similar with the relation with the military. Of course, we cannot relate with the military, but we can relate with the anti government. Yeah, of course, we have a good connection. I mean, in some parts, we can communicate well, and we can raise well, and also really listen to our voices. But I mean, after 2015, as being activists, we always can be threatened by the government. Always, even whatever it is, another government or civilian government or democratic government, there can be always threat to the activists. So some we are also not some. I mean, not directly with the generation wave, but with our colleagues from our networks. They have been like charged with different laws, and they've been charged. They've been put in prison even under another government. So to to compare the risk with the with the with their military regime, yeah, the risks are less, but they are still risk. They are still threatening. So as I told before, governments are doing what they are doing, and activists are doing what we have to do, and there are always risk for the activists in the country. And also, as we criticize a lot to the NLD government, and sometimes they also like really like don't like arts because they may say, we are now our country is like in the transition process. We need to build a lot, and also it need to take time. Yeah, we understand that. It should we cannot build up the country quickly. It has to take time. We understand that. We also agree what they say. But the thing is, whatever you are doing, wherever you are, you have to say like you have to respect the values of human rights, and you cannot use the repressive law to violate the freedom of people and also yeah like that. But and I think they are still using that, so that's why we always advocate and recommend, hey, this law should be abolished like that. So that is what we talk to them. So to conclude to this part, I would say NNDR energy when we compare the energy government and when we compare to the military regime, yeah, energy government times are much more freedom than the military regime. But of course, yeah, as I told you, human right, human right values, and also bringing peace among the ethnic groups are not always fruitful, even under energy time. Yeah.
That's a great answer. Yeah, the activists are going to be activists. The government's going to be the government. That's probably true. Probably some kind of universal law. Moving on now to the coup, I think we've had a really robust and good understanding of your background, your activism, your values, sacrifices. I'm sure there's so much more there in those 15 years or so that we can explore, but it's a good grounding for moving on to the second part of our interview here at the midway point of our discussion. So now it's February 1st, 2021. The coup has happened. And of course, the question that I have to ask is, were you expecting it? And where were you? How did you learn of it? And then, as someone like you, I mean, you've been doing years and years of activism, and that really separates you from a lot of the youth who's now taking part. So many members of of the youth who are engaged in resisting the military regime, they had to learn everything they were doing from the time the coup was launched. They're coming from their university classes, from their jobs of being an IT or a waiter or a marketing company or a taxi driver, whatever it is. And they're just learning on the fly how to resist a professional military. You have been doing this for 15 years, so you know very well what this military is, what their tactics are, how they go about things. You are a step ahead at that point. And so I assume stepped into some kind of leadership position for those initial moments. So if you could just walk us through the coup happening, your reaction, and then your activity in the following days and weeks and months.
Yeah. After the coup happened, yeah, actually, at the morning, very early morning, I got a phone call from my friends. The military took coup. They announced they took coup and arrest the president, arrest the state councilors, and arrest many political leaders. And when I had that news, I was like, I mean, in that moment, I feel I was became like, honestly, there's nothing in my. Oh no, I became speechless. I became brainless that time, man, and for some minutes, and then um, and then I feel like, oh my god, the oh my god, the it was so crazy moment for me. I mean, it is personally. I mean, even before that, we have some new, we have like some rumors that you're going to coup, blah blah, and we say, oh no, how they can coup because the constitutions are protecting them while they are would like to take coup, something like this. The rumor discussion like that, but we didn't think a lot. Okay, they are going to take coup. Uh, also personally, I didn't expect they're going to take coup as well. And but that morning when I heard that news, I feel like speechless and also even cannot move or even cannot think just for some minutes. So this is my personal feeling after the coup. And then as an organization, everyone also not everyone I would say every people I mean like all the people in the country will feel like similar with me. I believe that I can say that. So for 1 or 2 days, not 1 or 2, yeah, for one day we trying to reach out to people who we know, and also we start. I mean, like receive the information of like our colleagues has been arrested, so we trying to follow the news. And then after that, like in second day, I I think in first day of the coup or in Mandalay, one of our colleagues start public protest against the coup. And then on second day or third day of the coup, like in Yangon, the workers they start marching against the military coup. So since that time, the movement, like the public protests are getting wider, 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 and like all the people, all people from different backgrounds, they came out on the street and also trying to say that they oppose the coup. And we are also there, and also we're trying to organize the protest and marching, and also trying to organize to give a speech to the people. But of course, that time people they are the first time when they came up on the street and they just express out what they are feeling, and they just express out that they disagree with the coup. And then later, of course, activists or like politicians, we need a leader for the movement because what is our objective? What is how much we want to reach from this? So that is the the leaders of the movement they should take a role in it, and so that's why we organize speech, we organize public speech, and yeah. So by this way, we involved in the movement, and then again after that, like we communicate with our colleagues. Colleagues mean colleagues with like from our like older generation or maybe like the leaders of the movement because there are so many leaders in different in different area in the country. So we start to we start to recruit it and then trying to organize a meeting, yeah, at the time, or some are online, some are offline, and then uh, we realize, okay, well, we should, we should discuss uh, what message that we want to deliver, and then so how would like to bring the movement like this. So at the beginning of the coup, the discussion will happen like that. And then at the same time, every day in every area, there are many people are on the street, and also they organize by themselves. They organize in their own groups. For example, like some by different school, different university, or like they organize by themselves, and they like they lead their strike, they lead their marching, they lead their protest, and then after that, after that, and then we make meetings with the leaders from the strike leaders. We make meeting and discuss, okay, how we organize, how should we continue, and also what the political message that we want to deliver, even in the protest. So by this way, we start involved in organizing these networks or that committee. So it begins like one of the so now we are also involving in the general strike collaboration committee. We're also involved in there, and also we are also involved in general strike coordination body. Which is involved from like in that general strike coordination bodies, there are many strike committees from around the country. They involved in there, and now we discuss, okay, what message today that we are going to or deliver during the protest or marching. So by this way, we discuss the message. And then, at the beginning of the march, and then there are different kinds of activities are ongoing. So we are organizing and we are involving in it. And then in like they start crack down, shoot to to the protests in Nibiru. So one of the one of the girl has been killed there, and then they start crack down in different parts of the country. Also in Yangon, where I live, in Yangon they start crack down and use tear gas, and then they start shooting the people. First, they use rubber bullet, and also, and after that, they use really bullet. But it is not. Yeah, there are even they are crackdown, but in different forms. But the street protests are ongoing in different form. But some are coming and joining in the movement, or in the protest, and then after that, they crack down more and more, and many people has been arrested as well. Also, our colleagues and friends have been arrested, and then so the last, in Yangon, the last place of the protest which is around our office area. So if we stay there actually, and then finally after the big crackdown and after the military after the big crackdown, after many people has been killed, after many people has been arrested, and the street protest and like the strike on the street are getting less and less. And then but even anti the crackdown, but there are some flash mob protests against to it are still happening from time to time. Like the movement going to be underground way, like of course at that time. And then yeah, of course some young people or some leaders, some movement leaders are trying to hide, and some have been arrested, and then the situation push us to choose the armed resistance. So so the movement just I mean like the I mean like the flow of the movement are going like this, and also some are like choosing the armed resistance like that. So until now, and then now as a generation wave, what we are one of our approaches in nonviolent way. So we what we are doing right now is like we are supporting to the strike leaders, to the activists, to the young people who are stay active in the movement. So what we are doing is we're trying to support them, for the sake of their security. We support them, and also we also like sharing the tactics of nonviolent movement. Yeah, because even like art generation wave in 2007, we are like receiving the knowledge of nonviolent movement, and also now we are also sharing it. The nonviolent approach is not to choose only the street protest, not just only to confront with the military, but there are so many strategies that we can make weaken to them. So that's what we are sharing, and also even now ourselves, we are also like approaching and like doing in nonviolent way. We call it like political defiance method. We are using that, and also now we are still trying to make them weaker and weaker, and then trying to contribute to this revolution and strategizing for a different approach to defeat to the brutal military regime. And yeah, we are doing so many things, of course, like the activities that we are doing and also how our approaching. I will not say here, of course, because of some of the information. I will keep it here. But what I would say is, as Generation Wave, we are involving in the beginning. We are organizing, facilitating, and also sharing knowledge, supporting from our past, and that it is until today how it looks like and how we contribute in the beginning of the coup. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for going through all of those months and now years to give us a picture of what was happening in the country and what you were doing personally. The thing I want to go back and hit on from what you were just talking about that interested me and I think would be quite informative for our listeners is you reference how ultimately, as we all know, the armed resistance had to take form. There were months and months of nonviolent protests. There were many attempts at getting international support, at trying to engage with military and police, and it was all for naught. It was ultimately the because of the violence and the crackdowns, an armed resistance did form. And there's been some misunderstanding about that. I think abroad, there's been a concern that it's an emerging civil war, that it's a that both sides are now engaged in different kinds of violent actions. And there's this kind of whataboutism where with whataboutism, you're asking, well, what about this or what about that? And by constantly asking, what about this or that, you're not looking at the central problem of what is actually taking place because you're constantly being distracted. In any case, you reference how at Generation Wave, you have adhered to your principles of nonviolence through this, and that the activities of your organization continues to be strictly nonviolent, while also referencing this armed resistance. And so I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about your, first, if you can explain the nature of this armed resistance and how it was formed and what shape it's taking, how the armed resistance is then coordinating with the nonviolent parts, with the how it's coordinated with, for example, the civil disobedience movement or different activist organizations, the NUG, different entities and movements within Myanmar that are not taking up arms, how these things are working together. And then also in your opinion, why the armed resistance formed, what it's trying to do, and where you, as far as it's safe to share, where you personally and your organization are fitting in with the overall resistance movement, including the arms segment that is now taking place against the military regime.
So first, I would like to share like the crackdown of the military regime, their brutalness, their violence to the people, pushing to the. Driving. It makes people to choose the armed resistance. It is just because of them, and then you cannot. As I told you cannot go and confront and directly with them because their brutalness are everybody know the highest. They do. Their brutality is you can imagine it, no? So that's why it drives people to choose the armed resistance. And then the armed resistance are okay. Or to say that, it's only my personal opinion. And the armed resistance are like chosen by the young people is because we have to resist it. They they at the military they are scared and they use violence. They use weapons to protect themselves. It means they're afraid of us. They're scared of us. And then if we have arms, if we can fight back to them, and if of course we don't want to choose to the armed resistance, but we have to. We have no choice. And then from this, we'll continue fighting to the we'll continue fighting to them. So that's why like many young people are like start choosing the armor systems. And that is I mean there might be other reason, but it is the my personal observation. Okay, it's one part. And then when we when we looking back to the when we are like seeing or observing to the current situation, yes, and resistance are ongoing. Many people are also like supporting to it, maybe like directly or indirectly supporting to it, and also waiting for it as well. It is the one point that I would like to mention. And then also now we have the NUG government, no? And they also like giving command to that, trying to organize everything. I mean, like for example, Ministry of Defense, they're trying to uh, get under uh, get under their control, and they're trying to organize it to be now. They're trying to go more systematically uh, to be under the international law or military code of conduct like this. They're trying to uh, do it systematically their way. So that is what they can do, and this is also what energy is also doing. But at the same time, there are many different arms groups not under energy, but they are also like having like this sense of okay to oppose to the military or buying and resistant movement. And then again, some are like having a very, very like long vision to choose the animal system movement. So different groups are may have like their different approach or different objectives. They may have it, but the common vision is like yeah to overthrow the military regime, to overthrow or to stop or to end all forms of dictatorship in the country. So there is that all our common goals in the revolution. So like these armed resistance movements are like chosen by all these groups of people. And then as a rule of us, as Generation Wave there, and we are not saying we don't agree to that. And we need like this kind of movement as well. But for us, what our approach is, we need all forms of movement to win this revolution. Okay, some people who are choosing animal resistance movement, we understand to that. Even though we are not directly relating relating or having relation to it, but we always keep on our track of the animal system movement. Okay, how where are they and how they are now, something. So we are always keep track on it. But at the same time, I mean, as the expertise or I mean like the role of Generation Wave is like we are approaching from nonviolent resistance movement because this is what we can do. They also what our expertise. This is what our approach looks like that. So that's why now, from the perspective of nonviolent approach, we are using all the methods to contribute in the movement. And then, yeah, of course, we have a strategy to we have the strategy to win the revolution. So in that, under that, it is the resistance movement are part of it. But even though we are not directly on that track of resistance movement, but we always keep our eyes on it, and also we're trying to balance the movement between nonviolent resistance and also armed resistance. So that is what we are doing so far. But of course, our friends, our colleagues, our alliance also in the armed resistance field as well. But what I will say is the movement to win the revolution, to bring down the military dictatorship, and to bring back human rights, peace, democracy in our country. So we need to go in different ways, in different forms of the movement. And then, of course, the most important things under nonviolent, under armed resistance, it is uh, it is defending for the armed resistance is defending, and also the most another important thing is they need to like follow their international code of conduct, especially in the war zone like this. But as far as we understand, NUG is like trying to be like that as well. But another thing is they need to responsible or take take responsibility for the things that they have done. So when the country is in the transition thing, so from the perspective of the transitional justice, so they will take, they need to take the responsibility. Yeah, again, as far as we understand, they also will take that responsibility as well. So the of course, armed resistance movement are very difficult as well, and also very controversial things are happening there as well. But anyway, what I would just say is they need to follow international code of conduct, and also we need the armed resistance for the country as well. We never can choose only one tactics or one perspective to for the movement, but we all need to resist in different forms. So that's why we can, if we do that, one day we will say, I believe we'll win and we can bring down the dictatorship in one day. Yeah.
Mhm. Right, that helps to clarify that. It helps to offer some additional information to, put all this in context, and looking at putting more in context and checking in about another matter. We're 2 years into the resistance movement. It's been 2 years since the military attempted a coup to take over the country. Some would say they have not succeeded because they have been contested at every turn. They don't control nearly the entire country, and there's opposition groups that have gained control and even administering different areas. But 2 years is a long time. 2 years is a long time to feel unsafe. It's a long time to have a collapsed economy. It's a long time to have no sense of human rights and not be able to live one's life in any kind of normal way. I simply can't imagine the stress and the strain and the tension of being in Myanmar these years and having to survive and manage that period of time with uh, given how terrible and bad things have been every day and how dangerous everything is. Um, I'm wondering about the current state of the resistance movement. 2 years is a long time to maintain that type of energy for the populace. For someone like you who's been doing it for literally decades, you somehow have something built in that has, or that you've developed or cultivated that has where you have risen to the level for many years of working towards these values no matter what the risk or the sacrifice. But for a general population, this is a long time to maintain. And I've been hearing about some of the disillusionment that some of the youth has gone through, as well as depression and the uncertainty of what's coming next. And just there's this sense of wanting to maintain the morale of this resistance movement. And so I'm wondering if you can speak to, from your vantage point, from your position, people you talk to and groups that you're in, and seeing the overall energy, how would you describe the strength and the morale of the resistance group today? How are they feeling? How are they doing? How are they able to maintain? What do you see that makes you optimistic? What do you see that might concern you? What can you tell us about the general state of the opposition, the resistance, the democracy movement today?
Yeah. Generally, what I would say is like, of course, as long as the movement taking too long, the support of the people, or maybe the resistance of the people can be getting like maybe less than, no, I would not say less. I mean, like maybe people, they cannot resist more and more, because of course they have done a lot, and also they sacrifice a lot, and for the time being, it is really really very challenging to the people as well. And yeah, of course, there are always depression. There are always like many people. Yeah, sometimes also acts we got some depressed as well. But then anyway, we motivate ourselves, and also when we think about like when we think about like our colleagues, our people have been arrested, our people has been killed. So when we think of the fallen heroes, so they always remind us we cannot stop. We never can stop. We have to do it. We have to do it more and more. We're doing it more and more. We're trying to reach until we're trying to fight until we reach our goals. So we always remind us, in this way. You know? So this is the thing, how we remind and how we motivate ourselves. Yeah, we also understand the people and also the resistance, like how it looks, how much they feel. Yeah, of course, we also understand like people are like looking or like expecting something. Yeah, of course, we also understand like they would like to see something right now. Yeah, we also would like to see something right now, some change right now. So that is we understand the nature of the people, but want to assess back to the current situation and for what. In future, what it should be and what it looks like, and also what direction we should go. So when we are assessing to this, the first thing what I would say is we always need to strategizing or evaluating in the current situation, current movement. Not only I'm resistant, not only like nonviolent resistant, but in every resistant, in all form of resistance, we always need to keep on track on it. We need to evaluate. We need to re-strategize to it. No, sometimes I also feel like we put some of our efforts in wrong direction. But what I would just say is, rather than we put our effort in wrong direction, we need to focus more on what we should do and what we have to do. We need to focus to it. So that's what this is much more with the responsibility of the political, the movement leader, for example, like NUCC, also the NUG as well. So there is more responsibility to them. And again, what I will also say another thing is, from the people's side, people are expecting in this. But from the leaders, leaders, they need to understand that. And also, my suggestion, and also from now forward, is like to evaluate or to re-strategize to move forward. And also, again, of course, we all have, as far as I understand, and as far as I know, we all have the common vision for future country. Yeah, of course, we need to have that. But then when we are focusing on the current movement resistance, we need to focus on it more and more and more deeply, rather than it is just only air. But we need to focus, and we need to look back to the real situation. So that is what I would like to say. So from us, from Generation Way, what we are trying to do is, yeah, we set up our mission also to reach, I mean, like to contribute to the revolution. We set up our missions. We have it. So we implement, we implement it to our best. Of course, only us, we cannot make the revolution win. Of course, all people, all the alliance, all the like state actors, or yeah, everyone need to be in the movement and need to make a change. If there's, yeah, as I told, only Generation Wave cannot do, but we all have to be together. So to conclude this, I would say, yeah, of course, when we got demotivated, so we need to try to think of what we want to achieve, and also to think of how much people sacrificed in front of us. Also, our fallen heroes, also our colleagues. So by seeing that, to motivate ourselves is one thing. And again, is we cannot stop the movement. We need to go in different forms. But of course, we need to also respect to our values and human rights. And we need to be on it. And then another thing is trying to focus on the things that we want to achieve, rather than we just focus our energy on the different different wrong direction. So I'm trying to think of it. And then the last one is the leadership of the movement. They have to be more predicate to it. So that is what I see, and also what I want to say for the current situation, and also for future. Yeah.
When you talk about the leadership and you express a wish that they're more practical, that that they can set a better example of leadership, one of the criticisms of looking at recent Burmese history is that it's been politics have been based more on single people and on personalities than they've been on systems and bureaucracies and protocols. And one of the conversations going forward in a post-Tamada Myanmar and looking at how to have a more stable democracy is to have them not as personality cults or as faith invested in single people, but as systems, building up strong systems that can survive different people, different parties, different ideas, and that the systems themselves are imbued with a strength beyond the temporary personalities of people who may come and go. I wonder if this is a concern that you share, a criticism that you also share, and if so, what you think is being done or is not being done or should be done to better transition from these kind of personality cults, whether it's military or democracy or wherever the person is coming from, as they're transitioning from this into trying to build up stable systems. What is your view on that, and what do you see that is being done or that could be done better?
Okay, so in our country, in our history, Yeah, of course, we rely so much on the leaders. Yeah, of course, we need to have leaders in the country, in the movement. Yeah, of course, we need to have that. But what I would just say is like, we need also leaders for the revolution as well. So as far as that we have is like, we have like the political, I mean like leaders who are also leading right now. We also have it. Yeah, of course, we should not depend only on our personal things, but we should have a leader who are leading the movement, the country, uh, to be smart as well. But these leaders also need to think of for the need to understand among themselves, and also rather than what we want, rather than individual desire, but they all need to know or understand to each other, and also they all need to know how to lead the country. For instance, in our country, there are so many different ethnic groups, not just only one major ethnic groups, but there are like different ethnic groups. But then leaders for different ethnic groups should come up together and also trying to talk and trying to make a common vision for the country, rather than okay, I'm just doing for my ethnic, rather than like that, but need to think for all, sorry, for all, for the country. And so I mean, in the leadership of the current movement, yeah, we also see like different approach as well, from different ethnic groups, different approach we saw it. But then what I would like just to say is, yeah, of course, we should have our own visions. Yeah, we should have that. But then at the same time, we also all need to have the common vision together as well. So to reach to that common vision, we should fight together. We should come set together, rather than we are like going because we are living in the country together. So we need to fight together. Of course, we should have like understanding of to each other, and of course we should have our own approach to our goals. Of course, but as I told, we must have common vision, and we must go together to reach our common vision. The very important thing there is like for to understand to each other is really important, rather than like by using your majority ethnic, let's say okay, chauvinism mindset. If you have that, you cannot negotiate, or you cannot lead the movement if you have like this kind of chauvinism mindset. So then, what I would just say is, okay, yeah, we need to. I mean, leaders need to have open mind, need to discuss more and more rather than our agenda. Need to discuss for the sake of the country. What I would just want to say is only that, and also again, we are also doing it as well, but from our best, we are also doing that and involving and sacrificing and committed to it. But for the leaders, what I would just say is like, I don't criticize that they don't have commitment, but of course they are really really like having strong passion for the country. Yeah, I understand that. But here, what I would just say is, rather than having the trying to do trying to focus only on our own agenda, but I would just say it's like trying to focus for all common vision for the country. And after we, yeah, of course, there has to be very long vision. Of course, we are not just trying to overthrow mainline military, but of course we are this revolution is for the future of the country, for the for building up for future country as well. So then, the leaders have need to have all understanding among ourselves, and then trying to fight, trying to resist to every forms of injustice, inequality, like this. So in the future, I would say, and I also believe, we can come up it one day. Yeah, of course, it is the long way, also long destiny as well. But then, yeah, I would say we have to fight together. We have to fight it, and we need to focus it, and then we should get rid of our self emotion, or no, I will not say emotion, our self egoist or something. Yeah, okay.
Right. So, another question that I have about where we are right now and what's happening in the democratic movement is that there has been very little engagement from foreign actors and foreign supporters. The democratic movement within the country has obviously been led by many Burmese activists, such as yourself, but much of it's being supported by the diaspora. It's really the Burmese diaspora around the world is really carrying on the backbreaking burden of trying to find ways to fundraise and support the movement from their own communities. And there has been very, very little involvement from, whether it's you're looking at international organizations or entire countries or even individual donors. You compare in the West how the Ukraine conflict is followed and supported just in a general way, and you don't see anything nearly similar like that in Myanmar. I think that part of the reason why can definitely be explained to it being further away and the geopolitical location of Myanmar is different than in other places. It's less understood. Also, Myanmar is extraordinarily complicated and messy in terms of the recent history, the civil wars that have taken place, and all the diversity of all the different ethnic and religious groups. It's quite a challenge for someone to take the time to be able to understand it, and the media doesn't report on it all that much, let's face it. So I'm curious, from your point of view, why you think it is that there has not been any real substantial foreign support for the democracy movement, and also looking at it from the perspective of within the democracy movement, should more have been done? Is there more that could have been done or that still should be done to better engage foreign actors, whether those actors are legislatures or journalists or donors or supporters or allies, whoever else? Is there more that should have been done or still can be done to bring in support from more people around the world to understand what's happening and to engage properly, that you would like to see, and that for whatever reason we haven't seen so much yet?
Okay, so first, we also understand like what how international communities are facing. I mean, every country has their own problems. We understand that, but then, of course, we still would like to raise something from here. Before I go that, I will also would like to mention the diaspora communities, what they have done, and also what they did is really, really great and very supportive for the revolution as well. So that is what I really would like to thank as well. And also, I'm also very proud again because wherever we are, people, Burmese people, wherever we are always put our hand on this revolution as much as we can. So that is what I'm really proud of concerning with the diaspora communities, because what they look when they look back for the country, they support a lot. Yeah. Also, I will encourage them to keep continue supporting or to keep continue raising the voices of us or the people in the country. It's one thing. And again, another one is for the international communities. Yeah, we understand the challenges that every country is facing. But what I would like to say is, if we want to see democracy in the world, we need to put all our hands on it, rather than putting your own agenda to the top. But if all international communities or all the country in the world, if we say like, okay, we need to bring peace in the world, and we need to bring democracy and human rights culture in the world. So for that, I would say we all have the responsibility for the world, for this world. We all means, if some country needs help, if some countries are in problems or in dangers, we should not neglect it, and we should do something for that. Of course, Burmese democracy movement since for a long time, we got lots of support from the international country as well. But I will also say our democracy is not achieving yet. So that's why I will also say to support more and more, and then now than before as well. It is why I'm saying is because if you don't want to see many people has been killed in Myanmar, many people has been lost their lives, their life and their families. And if you don't want to see this, yeah, you need to support more and more than now as well. And then our country struggled since for a long time, and it is not finished yet. And also, would like to raise this to see what's happening in Myanmar. So I would like to encourage to look at to the problems of the our country and situation of our country. Yeah, I would like to raise to go and see it. And then for the international communities, also like the UN, to take actions more and more, rather than like just discussing, and rather than like going to the people walk. But I would like to see more actions. Yeah. Also, I would like to reference again at the beginning of the coup, at the beginning of the protest. You know, some young people went in front of the UN office and gave a message how many dead people need for UNs to take actions. So here again, I will also raise how many dead people you need to take actions. And then also another one is many people will be dead. More and more people will be killed soon. And if you don't want to see that, yeah, you need to take action urgently. You cannot wait. You cannot wait and see. You have to take your actions. So, okay, you may ask what actions you need to take or blah, blah, like this. And then from the things that you can do, take all the actions that you can do. For example, like, okay, to accuse to the military, Myanmar military, at the international court. Yeah, please do it. And you have got lots of evidence. You have got proof already, and just take actions. So then, okay, how China, Russia are always like objected. So then, trying to convince it. You can use your power. You can use your liberty. You can use your freedom, or you can put more effort on it. So this is what you can do. This is where you can take action. Of course, like humanitarian assistance are urgently needed in the country as well. So for that, when you are supporting to it, try not to cooperate with the military regime, trying to cooperate with the ethnic organization or civil society organization who are trying to help with the or trying to support to the humanitarian system inside the country. And then again, yeah, of course, like you should recognize NUG as a legitimate government of the country or of the Myanmar, and then trying to support to them. And then again, not to accept or not to recognize the military regime as a legitimate one. And then again, when you took actions, don't cooperate or don't relate with the military regime, or for example, like selling weapons or supporting weapons. Don't do that because these weapons are killing people in Myanmar, killing people of Myanmar, the one that you are selling. So also like very recently, the military are using a bomb or airstrike, killing mass of people, killing children, killing bomb blasting to the school. So they are using this. So if you are supporting to it, if you are like giving legitimacy to the military, it will be much more and more. Yeah, yeah. If you support to the military, yeah, many people will be dead more and more. So don't do that. Trying to support to your best. So yeah, of course, there's a lot of that. Yeah, I also sometimes feeling that people who would like to take action, who would like to support, they will find a way to support to take actions. We appreciate who are supporting and who are doing that, but at the same time, we also would say again, hey, do it quickly, and you cannot take time because many people are dying here. So please do quickly. Yeah. Also, to the international people and not to the government, not to the international government, but for the international people, trying to listen to the voice of Myanmar and trying to encourage to your government to take action because your government will listen to your voices if you put pressure to them. So that's why please use your liberty to promote us, to support us. Your supporting to us is also your supporting to the democracy. And then your supporting to us means you're bringing peace in Myanmar. Also, if you go beyond that, it also bringing peace and democracy for this world. So please do that.
That's great. Thanks for bringing that to our audience. I really appreciate the time that you've taken. And just have one more question I want to ask before we wrap up. So much of your talk has been referencing the national movements that have been going on the last 15, 20 years and what you've been doing to support pushing for change in positive ways, progressive campaigns, and human rights and democracy. I realize that you've been talking so much about the actions you've been doing, the work you've been committing to, and some of these bigger events and things, movements taking place, that your own personal story hasn't so much been included. I think perhaps that's a testament to the sacrifice and the egolessness of how you've been engaged, that you perhaps don't think about yourself or reference yourself as you're thinking about these bigger things that you're striving for. But I want to end with the personal, and I want to end with knowing more about you and how you're doing emotionally and physically and mentally and spiritually, even anything else. Uh, we've been talking a lot about how Myanmar is doing, how the democracy movement is doing, but I want to finish by talking about you and just find out how you're doing. You have really been a full-time activist since 2007 Saffron Revolution. You've then had 2 years of absolute terror of this military regime and their what they're trying to do and control in resisting them. Through all of this and where we stand right now, as I'm now talking to you, and I'm sure you've had to go into all kinds of hiding and care for your own safety and those close to you. How are you personally doing? How are you managing through this? When if you do a personal check-in, however comfortable you are with whatever you share, where are you at right now, personally speaking?
Yeah, currently I'm so-called a safe place. In a safe area. Yeah, it is the thing. Because yeah, I would say for my life, it is the second time to leave home and to hide and to. It's my second time. Yeah, of course there are so many experience for other people as well, but for me personally, this is my second time to be away from home. Yeah, of course. Currently, I'm in a safe place. Okay, so my personal things is like, to be honest, I would like to. I don't want to really do like this, being a politician. Oh no, being politicians or being activists. I don't want to be that. I want to live very peacefully and to have fun with friends and family. I want to go as a normal life, like other people. Yeah, of course. But now the all my energy and all my commitment are for the revolutions, for the movement. So first I didn't choose, but now I choose to be like this because when I looking back to the people, when I looking back to the movement, I I never think of to be away from it because I want to reach to my goal. My goal is like to bring the country safe, to bring the country with full of peaceful and also human right democracy. I want to see the country. So that it becomes my dream, and also that is what I commit for. Also, my another big dream is not just only for the country, but also for the world. Yeah, when we win the revolution, maybe definitely I would do for the world peaceful. Yeah, we'll share, we'll give our commitment for the world to be peaceful. So my personal thing is, yeah, I motivate myself always. Of course, always depression, but motivate myself when I get the strength from the people. So it motivates me a lot. So that's why my life, my life and my sacrifice, my life and my commitment, my energy, and I sacrifice my life for the revolution or for the movement, for the country. Yeah, of course, for the world as well. Yeah, this is what I will be look like. I think the whole entire of my life. Yeah.
That's heavy. That's amazing. It's powerful listening to. It's also I hear your dedication. I hear your commitment and how much you're giving to what you're striving for, and also having to balance with that the personal factors and of all of us being human and all of our own needs according to this mind body structure that we need to take care of, and doing so while striving in this revolution for fundamental change in your society. I think it also just strikes me how sometimes the worst things in life and the worst things in the world and in one's country can bring out this countervailing force of some of the best things humanity has to offer. And so as we're reflecting on some of the worst atrocities and ruthless, terrible criminal behavior of the Tamada and the military regime, the greed, the selfishness, the crimes against humanity, we also have a chance to check in with people like you that are really the very opposite of what we're seeing as these deplorable states and at the dredges of society that throughout Myanmar. And I hope that this is something that is also a hope of this platform, that the foreign listeners that are tuning in and the allies, that they're able to learn this multidimensional story. They're not just hearing a story about the cruelty of the military and the victims that are suffering, but we're hearing from people like you who are empowered and taking these risks and sacrifices and showing us in these conditions, no less, the very best that humanity has to offer and the possibilities of where our humanity can soar to, of what's possible in terms of how much we can give, how much we can care about others, how selfless we can be, how egoless. And from talking to you here, I see you and your life and commitments as a testament to that, and a reminder that as depressing and awful and terrible as the Tamada's actions are, we also have many people like you that are, even sometimes without support, doing what you do and sacrificing so much from your personal life to being able to resist this military regime for the betterment of everyone in your country. And it's such an honor to be able to hear that story and to bring your story to many more listeners who can take it in and appreciate it and benefit from knowing how many people like you there are that are striving for the best that humanity has to offer and trying to create something that will be beneficial to all. So I really thank you for taking that time. I wish you the best of luck. I wish you safety. I wish you success. And I wish your country and your people the freedom and the human rights that you so much deserve. And thank you so much for taking this time to talk to us.
Yeah, thank you so much as well from my side. And also, very thank you for you as well, because I could raise the story, the voices. Yeah. Also, as the last thing, what I would say is, we will never stop. We'll never stop. Our fight will never stop. No one can stop us as well. And this fight, the revolution is bringing us to reach to our goals. Yeah, of course, as I told. Yeah. As I told, we'll bring freedom, peace, human right, democracy in the country, as well as for the world. One day, I believe it will reach. Yeah. So thank you very much as well for your contact and also for your communication as well.
We want to take a moment to introduce you to our nonprofit Better Burma's online shop, which features handicrafts sourced from artisan communities scattered throughout Myanmar. Far from being mass-produced knockoffs, the pieces we offer are unique and handmade, reflecting the wide diversity of different peoples found throughout the country. When Myanmar experienced its transition period, moving towards democracy in the late 2010s after decades of harsh military dictatorship, many Burmese craftspeople hoped their beautiful work could finally be appreciated beyond the country's borders. But sadly, this was not to be so. Following the military coup, many skilled artisans suddenly found all possibility of continuing their livelihood closed off and began struggling just to feed their families. With this in mind, we prioritize working with artisans from disadvantaged and vulnerable backgrounds because we know just how hard it can be to survive at the margins of society in Myanmar. This includes such people as those with disabilities, mothers who have contracted HIV/AIDS, civil servants on CDM, ethnic and religious minorities, and more. To view these wonderful pieces, please visit alokacrafts.com. That's Aloka, A-L-O-K-A, crafts, C-R-A-F-T-S. One word, alokacrafts.com. Otherwise, please consider a donation through our usual channels.